Hi everyone, David here from daviddumaisaudio.com, and in this video I want to show you guys how you can create your own fire whoosh sound effect without having to go out and record any kind of fire or anything like that. So before we jump to the project, if you haven't checked the description yet, I'm going to leave some free whoosh sound effects for you guys, so make sure to check it out. Check the link for that in the description. And now let's jump into our project and I'll show you guys how you can do that. All right, so before we start, I like to usually show or give an idea of what we're going to be working, what we're going to be aiming to recreate here. So this is the sound that I'm going to be recreating, and let's have a listen. So something like that. I also had another one here set up right here, number 8. Here we go. All right, so that is the sound we're going for. So like I said, a fire whoosh sound effect. So let's break it down here. So let's start from scratch. So the first thing I did is I was using whoosh samples. So if you don't know how to create a whoosh, you can check my channel. I think I have a few videos on there. And if not, I'm also going to be releasing one either next week or sometime in the near future if I haven't already released it, but I'm not sure at the time of filming this. But if not, you know, there's also a ton of tutorials on YouTube just on how to create whooshes. So check those out. And if not, these are the sounds that I created, just to give you an idea of what I was working with here. So here's one. So these are the whoosh sounds that I created that I'm going to be using in this video. I think number 8 here is this first one. So that sound is how I'm creating this sound right here. All right, so the first thing I did, let's turn off all the effects so we know what we're working with here. So I just imported everything. I imported a ton of whoosh sound effects into Whoosh here by Tonstorm. And then what I did is I started to scan through the files and see which ones worked really well as a fire whoosh sound. So this is the one that I liked. So then I started designing it. So the first thing I did is I just put in OTT, which is a multi-band compressor. It's a free one. Maybe I'll leave the link in the description if you guys don't already have it. And basically what it does is just compressing 3 bands, so the highs, the mids, and the lows. And as you can see here, I actually put the depth down to 10%. So if it was at 100%, it would be affecting it 100%. So it'd be like really loud. But I want it to be kind of subtle. That's why I put it at 10%. The next thing I did is I added snap heap on here. And let's break this down because this is the core of the sound here. So let's hear what this sounds like with it on, and then we'll start from scratch here. Right, so that is the sound. So if I turn it off, let's start from the beginning here. So the first thing I did is I put a pitch shifter. And what you'll notice here is that you'll see it jumping around a lot. The reason for that is because I have the pitch of the audio file that it's referencing, which is the sound of this file. So it's analyzing the pitch of it, but because it's a sample, like there's no actual pitch, I put the sensitivity all the way up so that it's just going crazy. And then I attach this, as you can see here, to the pitch. So now it's just moving around like crazy based on whatever pitch it's reading over here. So that's why the pitch is just going up and down like crazy. So if I turn it off, right? So that's how I'm getting this really low rumble kind of sound, just because it's moving around so much. So that's what I did here. Next thing I did is I wanted to add some distortion. So I did some phase distortion here. And it's actually very minor. So as you can see here, it's attached. I attached the mix here, which is attached to envelope 1, which is the amp envelope of the sound wave here. So based on the levels of the whoosh here, it's going to make the distortion higher or lower. So the higher it is right now, I'm getting a bit more distortion here in the mix. And as it's lower, I have nothing. So it's really not very much. It's just to add a tiny bit. And yeah, so that's basically, so this is what I started with. So the next thing I did is I added a parallel. I wanted to parallel two versions of this. So the first sound is going through here. That's the sound we just did. The next sound I wanted to process independently. So this is what I was working with. So first I did is a filter here. And I did the dual pole filter here where you have like a high cut and a low cut all in one. And as you can see, it's moving. And again, this is based on the envelope. So when the sound is louder, it's moving up higher. And when it's lower, it just goes down lower. And then to that, I added a pitch shifter. So it just pitched it down 12. And there's no automation or anything happening here. And then I added a bit of delay just to add some space. But as you can see, the mix is super low. It's at like 4%, so it's just barely noticeable. Just add a bit of tail to the sound. And that is that one. So if I put these two together now, so before I only had the first one. Like that. Now, the next thing I did, which is the core of the sound, is adding distortion. So these two are running parallel to each other. So I have two instances of that whoosh sound coming in, and then they're both going and being fed through this distortion here. And as you're going to see, this is it's just on saturate, and it might even be the default value. I probably put the drive down a little bit and the mix all the way up. And if you listen, you'll see it just makes the sound so much more gritty and fire-like, I guess. So with it off, right? So a lot grittier, and that's adding a lot of sound to it. Now there was two other sound effects that I added to this, which were the let's see, Valhalla Space Modulator, which I think is also a free plugin. I'll put a link in the description. I'm not sure if it's free or not. But yeah, again, this is not very much. I put the mix down to 8.4, and I was just playing around with the parameters here. So if you listen with it on and off, I don't think you're going to hear very much. So what I hear is it's just adding space and a bit of a tail to the sound. So it's just filling it out a bit more. And I added another one here, which is Valhalla Supermassive. Again, I think this is also a free plugin. Man, it's been a while since I've got these. So anyways, I'll put a link in the description for these. But this is, again, same thing. Like the mix is way down low. It's 8.8%. It's not very much. It's just to add against that sense of space and tail to the sound. So it just makes it sound like it's in a bigger room and it's just bigger than it actually is. So if I turn like these off, you'll see it doesn't sound... Like it still sounds okay, but with these on, I think it just adds a bit more space. And that's basically it for these. I had also this like delay plugin on here, but it's really not necessary. I think it was just adding too much. It's okay if I do like a really long whoosh. But if it's really short, then it really pops out too much. So, like you can just hear the delay, and that's in the sound, which is not what you want. So, I tend to leave it off. And that's basically it. So once I have these in place, now I can just go and scroll through, and I have like other ones that I really like. Like I think number 34 was one of them. Right? So you can just play, like if you create your own whooshes and you have different variations of them or different whooshes, you can just put them in here and see how well they work as a like a fire sound effect. So that was another one. I have like 57 as well. Let's go with that one. Right. So, and that's basically it. So again, the core of this sound is through here snap heap, especially with the distortion. But yeah, so this is how I created a whoosh, a fire whoosh sound effect. So anyways, I hope you guys liked that and found it valuable and helpful. If you guys have any questions, please let me know and I'll do my best to answer them in the comments below. And again, make sure to check the descriptions for those free whoosh sound effects that I'm going to include for you guys. Absolutely free. So check the description for those. And I think that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching again. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.